What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 4, Episode 3, you guys. The episode was titled Read It and Weep. Carlos, why did you name this episode Read It and Weep? Alright, you guys, so before we get into this, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and they're not subscribed to the channel, I need you guys to do me a favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys can do me that big favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing this video. And you guys, with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, we open up and we are at Black. So we see Marceau, we see Jalen, and we see Maurice show up, right? So Marceau and Maurice, they go to the side and they have a conversation, right? Carlos. Can we please let this be the last week that we discuss this picture? Because at this point, I'm already over it, right? Because looking at it now, when that picture when we first saw that picture after the reunion, right? It was just like, oh my God, like, why would Maurice get on that stage, lie about, being in the presence of Marcel and you know who, right? And I was like, ooh. And even at that time, I was like, Carlos, like, I even tweeted it. Like, I was like, I hope that Carlos has the cameras up and running for season 4, which I knew he probably would, right? So Maurice is telling Marceau that he felt, Marceau saying he felt ambushed with that dinner with their other brother, right? Do I see an ambush? Not really. So Maurice asked him for an apology, and Marceau's like, stop it, Maurice, stop it. And as much as I don't see, y'all know I don't see it from Marceau, right? But as much as I don't see it from Marceau, I'm actually kind of on Marceau's side. Like, why does he need to apologize to you, right? You're the one that sat on that reunion stage and said that, you hadn't been around them, so you were trying to basically say that you didn't condone what they did, but you were in Atlanta with them, and she is the one that took the picture, right? So, yeah, buddy, I don't think he owes you an apology. He says, if he does, Marceau says, if he does owe anybody an apology, it's going to be Kimmy, right? And, he's talking about, you good, Tisha's good. Tisha's going to be as good as Tisha's going to be, right? Because I saw somebody who tweeted this, right, and it is the absolute truth, right? Tisha, if God himself came down here and had proof that Marceau had been cheating on Tisha, Tisha wouldn't believe it, right? So then Hope joins him, right? And, he asked him to come to the kids' book signing, right? Both Maurice and Marceau have things to do, right? Maurice is getting ready to go on his honeymoon with Kimmy. Marceau has some stuff to do with his kids, so they won't be able to make it, right? So then Maurice asked Marcel, so with the post, did you think it was funny? Obviously he did, right? Because when Marceau posted that post, right? Maurice, the only person that didn't comment on it was Maurice, Kimmy, Tisha, Mel, Destiny, and we ain't gonna even include the Whitlows, right? But Marcel commented on it, and so did Arian, right? I said her name, and I said I wasn't gonna say the girl's name, but those are the only people that commented on the post, right? And Marcel did think it was funny, but then he said, you know what? I had to sit there and think, he's married. Well, he wasn't married at the time, so it's apples and it's oranges, basically, right? So then Marcel wants to bring up the fact that he talked to Big Lou and how, Lewis was talking about how they, Kimmy, well, technically how more specifically Tisha and Marceau was coming at him at the reunion, and him and his wife. But I don't know if Marcel is omitting shit or if what's going on, right? But you have to remember that they had input on everybody's situations all season last year. So when Carlos mentioned to you a reunion, you should have been like, oh Jesus, like I done talked cash money shit about these people, and they gonna run that, they gonna run it back. So let me go on this apology tour, right? Because you talked about Marceau, you talked about Maurice, y'all had talked about Destiny, Tisha, like y'all talked about everybody, and I just don't understand how they went into the reunion thinking that it was going to be a kumbaya session, right? I just don't know what they were expecting, right? So Marceau says that he wasn't going to be a punching bag, and I'm like, you weren't going to be a punching bag, but your good friend right here is the one that has spearheaded everything that's been in the blogs about you. The 20 women's, as Miss Wanda says. Oh God! Speaking of Wanda and her curls, to my people, I'm saying this to my people once again. Please tell me y'all are not watching her lives. I just don't know how anybody that is intelligent can sit and watch her lives, right? And I know we're all from the South, so we're all pretty country, right? Hell, I'm from Texas, and I'm from a country part of Texas, right? And I don't hear an accent, but I know people tell me I have one, right? I know that there are some words that I don't intentionally mispronounce, but it's just because of our dialects, right? But Wanda can't even get the whole. I mean, if you put an English dictionary in front of that woman, I bet you she would butcher every word in the damn dictionary, right? So I just don't understand how anybody can watch her lives. And then she did a whole live talking about Mel. Like I said last week, I did not think what Mel did was cool. Inviting, Tisha's cousin to the party, and then them talking about Tisha. I didn't agree with that, right? But Marcel said he wasn't gonna be a punching bag, right? So then he asked Martel, so did you think I was bullying him? He said yes. I was like, no. Tiffany and Lewis got what was coming to them, right? You guys let me know what you guys think about that, right? I don't feel anything for Tiffany and Lewis at this point, right? Because like I said, Tiffany and Lewis came in so strong last season, and even in this episode, Big Lou came in a little strong, but we are going to discuss that a little later. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause here, and we're going to keep going. All right, you guys. So we're at the Whitlows, right? So going into season 4 with Tiffany and Lewis, right? I am going to extend a little bit of grace to Tiffany and Lewis, right? Last season was their first season on this show. So they may have, saw the show, which I'm pretty sure, just like with Destiny, like I've given Destiny a chance, right? After her first season, I'm giving Tiffany and Lewis a second chance, right? And we'll see how things go if I still dislike Tiffany and Lewis going forward, right? Which right now is still kind of looking like I still dislike them, right? Because Lewis in this scene, like, you did what you did last season when, you had that issue with Maurice, right? Because you were talking about it, when he had that liquid courage in him that night, and then they was mowing that dead lawn. I don't know why I keep doing air quotes, but they was mowing that dead lawn, right? And he was talking about what he would have done versus what he didn't do. But then when he got in front of Maurice, he had nothing to say, right? So now I will say this thing was cringe-worthy watching those two, right? I was like, ugh, no. I could have went without this scene, right? Because he's working on the internet, and she's like, I got somewhere you can put. Oh God, I don't even want to repeat what she said. So they talk about the pajama party, right? And she says that she and Kimmy were, she and Kimmy went to the side. They had a conversation, right? And they made amends with each other, right? After the reunion, they made things right, And then Stormy came over, and she says that Stormy was at her. I'm trying to see if I agree with that Stormy was necessarily at her. I guess so, right? Because Stormy wasn't coming at her. What I feel when it comes to Stormy is I think that Stormy was basically instigating the situation, right? That's the real thing that I can say about Stormy. She was instigating the situation, right? So then, Lewis tells her that he talked to Marcel about, what happened at the reunion with Marceau, right? And he doesn't understand why Marceau was so aggressive. You were speaking on his marriage. Granted, us bloggers, us YouTubers, the cast, pretty much everyone has spoken on Marceau's marriage, right? But he doesn't say anything. He chose to say something to Lewis, right? And then, like I said in last week's review, with Marceau, Marceau will never come out and deny any of these rumors that are out there. Him having outside kids, him having a mistress, right? He will never flat out come out and say it. What he does is he plays into it, and I'm just like, that's making things. That's the reason why your wife has the insecurities that she has now. Like, I just don't understand how Marceau gets it. He just likes to play up the villain role, right? And I remember last week that I was going to talk to you guys about something, and I completely forgot to talk about it. My issue with Mel, right? So Mel doesn't want anything to do with coleslaw, right? And rightfully so. She doesn't want her in the show. She doesn't want anything, right? That's rightfully so, bro. My question for Mel is, allegedly, Marceau is having Marceau has the affair with her hairdresser, who is Martel's cousin, right? Now, I don't know if Mel still gets her hair done by the woman, but at the time when those rumors came out, Mel was still getting her hair done by that woman. I'm like, if you know that woman is the side chick to Marceau, why are you in her company, right? You don't like the you don't. I feel like you have issues with people who knew about coleslaw, but then here you are semi doing it to another woman, allegedly, right? That's my issue. That's my only issue, right? If these rumors are in fact true about him and the hairdresser, why did Mel continue to get her hair done by the woman? That is the only question that I have, and that's it, right? So then, Lewis says that, he wants to have a one-on-one with Marceau, and then Tiffany says, well, why don't we have a double date, right? So Tiffany says that she knew Marceau prior to, I guess, to the show, right? Now, what I will say is, knowing him, was that like in passing, or did you actually know him, like have conversations with him and stuff like that? That's the question that I wonder. Like, was it a passing relationship, or was it some actual friendship, right? I think it might have been a passing relationship, because Lewis is all big and bad in his chest at this point, and I'm like, Lewis, you did the same thing last season with Maurice, and you ain't bust a grape, and you ain't do nothing. So why are we so big and bold in our chest? I didn't get it. Didn't get it, you guys. I did not get it. But hey, you guys, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pause here, and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys, so this next scene was a cute scene, and I really, really loved it. Melody and her daughter, Mariah, right? So Melody is running lines for this audition that she has, right? Who, can I be honest with you guys? I know I can, because y'all love my honesty. Mel, you and your scene, you and your lines, right? When you were doing your lines, they came off very affected, right? They came off very fake. Like, it sounded almost as if you were literally reading from the script to me. Mariah, she effortless, right? I was like, oh, that was so cute, right? And after that, they have a conversation, and Mel is telling her about being independent and going for your dreams. She asked her, what are your dreams? She says she wants to be better than Serena and Venus Williams. And I'm like, hey, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. And that's my whole stance in life. If you can dream it, baby, you can achieve it. And it goes for anybody. Don't let age deter you, right? If you can dream it, you can achieve it. So then we see Martel. So Martel went over to his mama's house, right, in one of them tight ass suits. I'm like, so we got a little bit of money, but we still wearing these skin tight suits? All right. So he's going over to his mom's house because he wants her to taste this wine he's got, right? So he's creating a wine. He's naming it after his big mama, right? So it's a premium sweet red wine. So he was talking about the fact that he and Mel, they used to drink this really sweet wine, right? And I guess he went to the store and I guess it's sold out or discontinued. I don't know. So then he's telling his mom about the book signing with the kids. He says he hopes that Mel will have the kids there. And I'm going to actually discuss that in a few minutes because I was just watching something on YouTube where Mel was on live last night and a woman asked her the question about the book signing. So I'm gonna pause here and we're gonna keep going, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up, we move over to Tisha and to Marceau, right? So we see Tisha and Marceau. So they're talking to the kids, right? They're making s'mores, and Marceau says he doesn't know how to make s'mores. It's a graham cracker. It's a piece of chocolate. It's a marshmallow. Some fire. You heat up the marshmallow. I mean, you just adding heat to the marshmallow, the graham cracker, and the Hershey's chocolate bar. That's all you're doing. But hey, set yourself off, right? So then they start talking about Africa. Africa. Now, I was scrolling through Instagram yesterday, right? And I happened to notice that I know that Chris Samuels and Monique Samuels and their kids had went to Africa. I don't know when they went, right? But I know that they went to Africa. And Marceau left a comment under Monique's post, right? And Monique says, next time take yo. She said, never mind. I was like, oh, we got some drama we cross connecting a drama, right? With DC. Is it Love and Marriage DC? Yeah, it's Love and Marriage DC. Love and Marriage DC and Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we intertwining, right? I would love it if they do a crossover episode with the cast of DC and Huntsville right now. That would be nice, right? So that way we could lead. Ooh, because you guys know that Love and Marriage DC premieres on May 12th, right? Is that right? It's May 12th. I think you guys can correct me in the comment section. So they're having a conversation about Africa, right? Where they want to go. And when Tisha said, is it kid friendly? He said, Tisha, you do know that there are kids in Africa. And I'm thinking to myself, Tisha, stop watching them damn commercials on TV where you see them malnourished kids. That is not that is not all of Africa. Go click on Netflix, go watch Young, Famous, and African, and it won't give you an accurate depiction of Africa, but it'll give you somewhat of a good depiction of Africa, South Africa. I mean, hell, all you got to do is look at pictures. Google is your best friend, right? But hey, it's Tisha, right? I will say one nice thing about Tisha. She looked really, really pretty. I loved her hair and her makeup, and I'm like, Tisha looks pretty. So then they start having a conversation, right? And Marceau tells her that Marcel and Maurice came down to Black and and talked to him about their issues, right? The picture. I still feel the same way about the picture. I want it to die down at this point. But I don't believe that Marceau owes Maurice an apology because you blatantly lied on the stage. So I don't agree with that. So then, she talks about, and this was not even a good segue when she talked about, my mom brought up the fact that you and Marceau, Martel and the whole secret apartment, right? Do I believe that there's a secret apartment? I don't. Because if there was a secret apartment in Huntsville, right? Now, I've never been to Huntsville, Alabama, but I can imagine that it's probably, I don't know. I would feel like, especially when it comes to the South, right? It depends on where you go, right? Most places in the South, people, especially, I don't know if Huntsville, Alabama is small or not, right? It may be, I don't know. But I feel like if there was a secret apartment, somebody would have caught Martel and Marceau going there, right? And Big Mouth would have said something by now. I just believe she would have said something. Because I mean, look at her. She was on a date with him recently, and she posted it. Are you happy about that, girl? That little girl is dumb as a box of rocks, but I see why Marcel sticks with her. And Marceau says that the rumors about him with the apartment, the 20 women, it all comes from the same person, Martel. And she says, "Have you ever talked to Martel about it?" He says, "No." And I was like, "Why?" If my friend is out here, and I'm gonna use an air quote for that one because I'm gonna use it loosely. If my friend is out here spreading false, malicious rumors about me, I'm gonna check it. But Marceau doesn't. So it leads me to wonder, is there something that Marceau is hiding? Just wonder. So next up, we see Kimmy and Maurice, right? So Kimmy and Maurice, they're packing for their honeymoon. And then Kimmy tells Maurice about the honeymoon, not the honeymoon, but the pajama party, right? She tells him that Tiffany was there and that, she and Tiffany, they had a conversation, right? But then after the conversation, Stormy came over and then Stormy rehashed it, right? And then she says also, Kiki was there and, Kiki was talking about, Tisha, but Tisha and Destiny, neither one of them were invited, right? So Maurice feels that she should talk to both Tisha and Destiny. I agree with him about talking to Tisha, right? But why talk to Destiny? Destiny wasn't mentioned at all at this party, right? So there's no purpose in talking to Destiny. What are you going to say to Destiny? Oh, Melody had a party and she didn't invite you? You can watch it on TV and see that she had a party and didn't invite you, right? But as far as Letitia, I definitely agree that she needs to talk to Letitia. Tell Letitia, hey, Melody had a pajama party. She didn't invite you. She invited Kiki. And Kiki had a lot of things to say about you and your marriage, right? And you might want to check up on that. I'm in agreement with that part, but I just don't understand why she needs to have a conversation with Destiny. Destiny's name wasn't mentioned. And if it was mentioned, it was just like, where's Destiny? That was it. So I don't agree there, Maurice. I don't agree. So you guys, I'm going to pause here and we're going to wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. So we see Martel. So Martel is at this book signing for the kids, right? He says he hasn't heard from Mel. And, the question that I have, right? So he says he knows that this is not his weekend to have the kids, right? This is Mel's week to have the kids, right? So the question I then posed was, why would you set up a book signing for the kids on a weekend that you don't have them, right? That a week that Mel has them, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier in the review. So Mel was on live last night, right? And there was a woman that asked her, why didn't she have those kids at the book signing? And I do see this a lot. Because Mel made mention to this, right? She definitely made mention to this. She said, it's interesting. There are so many women that take Martel's side, but the men that she talks to are on her side. And I'm like, it is interesting when you think about it, right? That most women go against another woman, but you'll have men that defend the woman. Like, you guys have heard me say this, right? Mel has her ways, right? But in this instance, I'm on Mel's side. I don't feel any type of way about her, even if she got because Mel says that she got this is the preview for next week's episode. She says that she got the email the day before, right? I don't give a damn if it came the day before, a week before, a month before, a year before, right? If the schedule was for me to have the kids this week, don't plan something, right? Ask me, hey, so I have this book, I have the kids and I have written a book, right? I'm trying to plan out when I want to do this book signing, right? And I have this engagement next week. Like, you can look at each other's schedules to see when it's free, but 9 times out of 10, he should have just said, hey, let me plan this for when I do have my kids, because you don't know what Mel had planned for her kids. And I just didn't agree with that. You don't know what Mel had planned for them kids, and you just gonna say, oh, I'm gonna just make it on her weekend. Forget what she got to do. Forget what she wants to do. It ain't about her. It's about me. Like, And Mel was on to Miss Vanessa. Miss Vanessa said he was trying to control her, right? I don't think that Marcel's trying to control Mel. I think he's trying to control the situation. He felt like, if he said, hey, this is an event that I'm doing for the kids, I would like to have them there. Like I said, he just wasn't taking into consideration what Mel had planned for the kids. It was all about him, him, him. So we see Mel, so she's packing up to go visit her mom because she lost an uncle and a great uncle. Honestly, Mel, you didn't have to explain that in your interview. I know that they asked you the question. You didn't have to explain it. You could have said whatever, right? I know she wasn't explaining it for Marcel, right? But if you look at the scene, it kind of looks like she's explaining why the kids are not at the book signing, so it's a tricky situation, right? It's a tricky situation, but it all leads back to Marcel, and I'm just like, why did you plan this for a week that you don't have your kids? You know the schedule for your kids, right? So why not talk to your assistant or manager or whatever Melnika is and tell her, hey, so I'm supposed to have the kids this week. Because then you have him with this book signing. He's sitting there looking sad and sappy. I ain't feel shit for Marcel. You guys know that. I didn't feel a lick of SHIT for him. But hey, it is what it is, right? Tiffany and Lewis showed up asking, and that was the thing. That was what was getting on my nerves. Everybody asking, where are the kids? Where are the kids? And then there's one woman, she's like, well, that's what it's like to be divorced. Welcome to being divorced. I can't. I can't. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Please drop down in the comments and leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. Share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands. Wear a mask. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one.